Hello, live from Idaho. Dr. Mom and Suki down there. She's got her own little spot down there. I thought we would today. I'm finally getting settled. Sorry, I'm gonna try and stick this up here without dropping the phone. Oh, okay. Anywho, live from Idaho. I thought I would touch base. It is only Tuesday, but usually I'm always late or something. So I just thought, well, I have time. I'm seeming to have lots of time now because I'm settling down here. I'm going to be here in Idaho for about 3 months, if they'll have me that long. With my son and his family, and it's been delightful. We've already we went one day out to, they have kind of a community park where they have fishing, and it's a really nice park, and we got to go do that. So anyway, I thought I would check in with everyone a lot, because it's been quite an, hey Tina, it's been quite an adventure these last, I'm going to say about the last driving with the RV has been an adventure. And I kind of knew that it might be, because I had to travel over from, so I went up from Florida. My kids, my daughter and her family came down, and we went, up that way, which was fine. It was windy though. I don't know if it's just me, but this year has been so windy. But maybe, possibly, I'm noticing a lot because I'm driving the RV. I don't know, but it's been extremely windy. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, because I drove my son's car the other day and it was windy, but it didn't really, the car, I couldn't tell a difference, right? In the RV, you can feel every piece of wind that comes your way. And I don't know if it's just me or because I'm by myself or what it is, but it really kind of scares me. I think I need to learn more about the dynamics of how much wind it takes to knock an RV over, but I did look at a study that said it takes about, I think it said it took about 40 to 50 miles per hour gusts of wind to knock it over. But I've kind of been in that at times. When I was in Minnesota at my son's, we had that kind of wind. Where I was parked was beside his house, so it wasn't too bad, and the RV survived it. I mean, it was okay. We also got hail, but it wasn't huge amounts, so I didn't look on the roof of the RV yet, but it has been a definite adventure. I think you learn a lot about yourself, especially there's been a couple times that have really scared me, and you're kind of sort of like petrified, scared. And there's nothing you can do about it at that moment, because you're driving in the RV, right? One was going up Independence Pass in Colorado. It was terrifying. I went over that by mistake because they had some fires and mudslides along I think it's I-70 going to Grand Junction. And I didn't realize, so my mapping system on my phone, doesn't consider if you're in an RV or not. And so it sent me over Independence Pass, which was terrifying. I escaped. I feel like that's kind of what it with me and the RV without too much damage. Like there was a section, the road was so narrow and it was high. There's no guardrails on the side. I escaped with just, I did scrape the surface of this side on the side of the cliff because I was trying to scoot over because my mirrors were on the outside, and as people were coming this way, a guy did actually hit my mirror. It was scary. But anyway, on to this trip. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through where I'm at with everything because just for an update. Bodybuilding, I'm starting this week out well. So I have been doing 6 days a week. My trainer has wrote me 6 days a week. Oh, and I did stop in Gillette, Wyoming and stay one night at my cousin's. My cousin is a world heavyweight lifter, world titled. I mean, he's been all over the world and taken titles. And he's the same age as I am, and he's still lifting. American Fitness, I believe, is the name of their gym. One thing I didn't do is get pictures of their gym. Like I got to work out one day with him, not really with him, but at the gym. And it was just a phenomenal gym, especially for bodybuilders, heavyweight lifters. But really, they had equipment for everyone. It was really a nice gym. And so anyway, they also gave me, hey Irene, fellow bodybuilder Irene. They gave me a shirt, 2 shirts and a hat, American Iron Fitness that goes with, I'm talking about my cousin Irene. He is a world titled heavyweight lifter. So I believe he took the title in China. I'm not sure where else he went to. He was just telling me a story about one of his travels, but he's still lifting. He's my age. And he owns a gym. Him and his other half own a cool gym. Show pictures. I didn't take any I don't know why on earth I didn't get pictures. It was running late. We got in his gym late, but I'll have him send me some if I can so I can post it. I can't believe I didn't get pictures. I only stayed one day, and the reason being is because the weather has been crazy. So I was kind of waiting from Minnesota a clear day to travel over to Wyoming, because Wyoming is notorious for big winds, and big winds are not my friend in an RV. So I kept waiting for a clear day. So I made it into Wyoming on a clear day, and then it was okay, and then so I kept traveling. So I ran out of time. I can't believe I didn't get pictures with him. And they're good people. They loaded me up with fresh veggies from their garden. They had a bunch frozen, and so I got, they had beets and green beans, which I had some today. But they also took me out to a fabulous dinner. It was just so much fun. Good family. So I'll try to get pictures. I'll see if Billy will send me some pictures, and post them, because it's pretty awesome. I just can't believe I didn't get pictures in his gym, because it's a fabulous gym in Gillette, Wyoming. And it keeps growing and growing. I mean, he knows what he's doing, right? So anyway, so I did, last week was when I was traveling. And so I did work out. I'm going to say I made it. I worked out at the Y before I left Minnesota. and then I worked out at Bill's. I really didn't work out too much after that because I just wanted to get here and be safe and settle down. You know, it was a little scary weather-wise, so I didn't do a lot of working out. But anyway, this is kind of my plan now. I was supposed to get here and work out with my trainer, but my trainer ended up going back to work. He was doing training full time, but now he went back to work full time. So he only had a couple open slots. He's pretty busy with working full time, and and it was one of them was I think it ended up being 4:30 in the morning. And I know, guys, but I don't want to do 4:30 in the morning. I don't have to. So I just decided I'm going to go ahead and go out the training myself. Ask him if he'd write one last program for me. And I also am low on funds right now. Traveling through Florida is kind of expensive. That's my RV one. So I've got to get some cash flow. I've got to start getting some cash flow going on. So that'll be my new priority. I'm considering I really need to do this. And I know, Irene, we worked together kind of on the moving forward thing. And I need to get the 21-day challenge going. Just because I do need to do I need to get cash flow coming in. I'm still good, but man, the gas prices, I'm doing 5:00 a.m. every morning, still working. Oh, I know. I probably, I was gonna do, he said he would do 6:30 with me, and I was kind of all right with that. So this is one of the deals, right? Because I don't pull a car. All I have is my RV, and it is killing me in gas. It's costing me about $200 a fill up, and the prices have just already went up again. So it's probably went up by $1.50 or more since I started traveling. So I can't, I don't know what I was saying. I don't know why I was bringing that up. It's pretty passionate. Gosh, I don't know what I was talking about now, but so that's why. So I don't have a vehicle, although my son will let me use his vehicle. So I wanted to ride my bike to the gym. Right? Irene has a couple funny laughs. I know. Anyway, so I wanted to ride my bike to the gym. I got my bikes off of the back of the RV now, and I'm going to be here for about 3 months. And so I wanted to ride to the gym because, just because I've got to drop weight. I was at 10, then I was 15, and now I got to go back down again. It's crazy. Thank goodness I monitor it. Anyway, so I can ride my bike to the gym from here. We all need to start riding our bike just to tell them we're not going to pay gas prices. It just aggravates me. $200. So every time it probably took me 4 fill-ups to get here. If you want to, that's $800 just to drive. So I'm going to have to, it kind of ate into my budget. Oh, yeah, Irene, yeah, she says she gained 10 pounds since February. Yeah, well, it's taken me a year, but I put on 15. I got to get back off. Easy to gain, so hard to lose, isn't it? I'm telling you. But I was keeping it off. If I gained, I was able to take it back off, but it's not, my body's kind of gone out of, I was doing really well with ketosis and fasting sort of at night and stuff. And now I'm sure I've gone pretty far out of it, and so my body's not responding like it was. So I'm getting back on. I'm doing good this week. So I'm not going to be working with my trainer. He's at the same gym. Hey, Brooklyn. How are you? I miss you guys. We'll be seeing you guys in a couple weeks. My granddaughter's on here. Yay. So anyway, I'm not going to be working with a bodybuilder. I'm going to be doing it on my own, which I think I'm okay with now. Am I going to the competition in August? It's sort of looking a little bit more like no, for a couple reasons. Because I feel like I really have not got a handle on, my weight needs to go down to about 135 to really be able to compete. And I'm a long ways from that, 30 pounds at least. I don't know. I'm going to keep working on it. So it's all about my diet, because I'll continue to work out 6 days a week, and I'm doing fantastic on that. But it's really the combination, and I feel like the diet is one of the main things. So I'm going to keep working towards it. Like, I will work on it if in a couple months my body responds well, I behave myself, then yes, I will go to competition. But as right now too, it's not really in my budget. Hey, Christy. Christy's on here too. Fun to see everyone. I'm glad I went on here because I feel like I can be a little more consistent now. Now that I'm kind of staying in one place for a while. And I'll be honest, it's nice to be here. It was kind of a long drive from Kentucky. It was a really long drive from Kentucky to Minnesota. Was 12 and a half hours. So I did that in a couple days. And then, and it had a lot to do with the weather, right? And then Minnesota to Idaho was 18 hours, which took me, I think I took about 4 days, but, and the weather was mega scary. It really was scary to me. Thank you. Chrissy said, you go, girl. It helps me to have you guys behind me, you know what I mean? But I'm driven by you, and I hope you're driven by me in some odd way or another. That's why I keep coming on here, because I want you to know I'm not stopping. I'm back to it full time again. So one thing I really like is I like Gold's a lot here in Pocatello. I love Gold's Gym. It's got everything I really like to lift. It's got a really nice place so that you can stretch out and things like that. And it's a really good fit for me. It's probably not for everyone, but it's a great fit for me. So that's where I'm at, is Gold's, and I really like Gold's. And that's where my trainer is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can get some heads from him. Maybe when it gets closer and I'm feeling like, yeah, I can do this, I'm gonna have to do some posing and stuff. But for now, I just don't know, you know. I don't know. It's August. That's gonna come really fast. June, July, August. Probably the second or third week in August. So it's crazy how time flies, right? So we'll see. Let's see. I think that's all I have to say about that. I'm still training, but I have to get my diet under control, and it's just not easy. I don't know. A lot of it is a lot of it is really mental. So I noticed when I was driving, when it's really stressful, it always stresses me out to drive. I mean, there's times that it's more relaxing, and like when there's not a lot of cars on the road, I like that. but it can be a little bit stressful. Hey, Bill. Hey, you guys are on the road. You know what I mean. I was just talking about it can be a little stressful on the road driving, which I'm going to jump into the RV thing. So I always look at the weather. It's funny because the guy that I rolled my 401k into, Edward Jones, he's my money manager, finance manager on there. He called me and, just to touch base. And he's like, you're the only client I have that knows all the weather everywhere. And what's happening. He's like, you're always talking about wind. Ugh, because it scares me. So, into Minnesota, I did pretty good. The wind was pretty good. I drove just because I think I did 7 hours, which Bill knows as an RVer and Jody that, well, after they told me, I think Jody told me they only go about 300 miles or 3 hours, or I can't remember, but I know why, because to me, it's a little stressful. And I'm by myself. I mean, Suki's with me. She keeps me great company. She settles me down because, like, there's this last venture, I was really stressed and I was talking out loud and she kept looking at me like, are you okay? But that's why you don't want to go. I tried to only go about 4 hours. So this is kind of what I went through. So I got into Gillette, Wyoming. It was actually good traveling, not a lot of wind through there. And when I say windy, I'm talking 20 to 25 mile an hour winds. I think it was only about 12 that day. I went to a park, and when I left Minnesota, I went 4 hours, went to a park, and then it was another 5 hours that I had to drive from there. And it was pretty good. It was a little windy, not bad. Wyoming's got windy roads. And I think one person said, watch it, more than one person. It gets so windy there, it knocks RVs or trucks off the road. So, of course, then I was stressed about that. But so I kind of looked from Gillette, Wyoming, in order to get to Pocatello, what the best route was. And my mapping system told me that it was high winds south. So you'd go through Casper, down south and up and over, I think through Soda Springs and that way. So the other two routes was to go through the middle and then you could go up and over, right? And I kind of wanted this ideal thing was to go through Jackson, and I wanted to stay in Jackson. It's beautiful. I mean, man, that whole area is gorgeous. The Tetons, Yellowstone, Du Bois, that I don't remember ever being there. It was breathtaking, but so I decided to go up and over because it said that I would avoid high winds. And Jackson did call for snow. So I decided to go that way just to avoid the high winds, but it was mega scary. So I drove, I think it was still 18 mile an hour winds. When I left Gillette, let's see, I'm trying to think. So I left there and it wasn't too windy. And I went to Du Bois and I stayed at a KOA there. I was going to keep driving, but it got really windy as I got closer. And there was snow on the mountains and things like that. And so usually I would, sounds like Suki's dreaming. The reason I would get a camp spot, and I did look in Du Bois. They had a KOA, but it was like $90. I mean, this is a off season, it seems like, but so I didn't get it. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just stay or be able to drive on into Jackson, because Jackson had quite a bit of camp spots. But by the time I got to Du Bois, I was like, oh my gosh, it was like 25, 30 mile an hour winds. It was a huge open spot. And so I was just like, there were times I thought I never really felt like I was going to go off the road. But I mean, I was just moving all over, and it just, it was not fun. So I probably had to do about 90 miles of driving that way. And there were times, if the wind was with me or even directly against me, it was okay. But when you turned and it was sort of, crosswinds, it was very scary. So I decided just to get off the road a couple times. I stopped at a rest area. It was super windy there. And then I went on into Du Bois. So I just ended up staying at the KOA, which was too expensive. So I get there. They're calling for snow the next day, high winds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to stay. I mean, I couldn't, there's no way I could stay there it looked like it would clear up in 2 days. If it did, right? It was quite cold. It was 35, 40, calling for snow. So I'm like, and for some reason, I thought from Du Bois into Pocatello, I don't know why I didn't realize this. That I should have known with the Tetons that there was passes through there. Which passes can be okay, right? Just not when there's snow on it and high winds. And so, all right, so I stayed at Du Bois. I'm like, oh, I can't stay. The wind was picking up, 18 mile an hour winds. And so I'm like, no, I'm just going to have to try and muscle through it. So it was only 4 hours and 10 minutes to Pocatello from Du Bois, which is kind of fun too, because it is beautiful up there. But I'm like, oh, I'm just going to have to muscle through it. And so I took off from Du Bois. So I started heading down the road. There's this big flashing sign that says, slick roads ahead. Slick roads, 25 miles, in 25 miles, snow, just beware, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I've driven in snow before. I mean, in Minnesota, I drove ambulance. I was an EMT for a while, and I drove ambulance, which was, I guess it's a little bit like this. I feel like an ambulance is probably heavier. And so I'm like, okay. I didn't have an option. So I either turn around and stay in Du Bois for 2 or 3 days. If it was 1 day, I might have stayed, but I just couldn't. Like, just wasn't in my budget. So, I went ahead and went, and it was a pretty gnarly pass. So it was snowing was okay. The wind was okay. I feel like the trees kind of helped a little bit, but it was super windy. When I started getting up to the peak of the pass, the roads were completely iced over with high winds glossing the road, things like that. I think my saving grace was I think it was about 35 degrees. That kind of helps, so that it isn't frozen solid. Minnesota was horrible driving then, but it still scared me. I have never driven the RV in snow-covered roads with high winds, and so I didn't know how she'd handle. And so it was scary. I just slowed down. Luckily, I did see, another RV go on there. I saw a couple trucks pulling trailers. So I'm like, well, other people are doing it, so it must be okay. But it was scary. I'm not going to lie. I was white knuckling it, as my son would say. Suki was on full alert because she knew I was kind of upset. I was talking out loud at times. So I just slowed down. I think I was, I can't even tell you how scary it was. But going up, the one side wasn't too bad. There's a lot of twists and turns, right? Going down was the one that really scared me, because you don't, once you get sliding, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so I was really going slow, where I think it said a 6% decline for truck drivers, check your brakes. 6% doesn't seem like much, but it was scary. So I just kind of tried to pull, like, it was completely covered with snow on the side of the roads. There was one lane open. There were passing lanes in some areas, but I slowed down so slow. Probably 5 or 10 mile an hour when I was making turns, because maybe my rig would have handled better. It could have went faster, but I didn't know. And I know what happens. I've driven enough that I know what happens if you don't go slow. So I feel like, there were people behind me, but I couldn't worry about that. Because down the other side, you're coming to some massive turns, 25 mile an hour on a good day. So I just went so slow. It was scary. She handled good, though. I don't think I felt her slip even once on the roads. I also put it in a lower gear, because they tell the truck drivers to put it in a lower gear. And I'm like, that way, if it stays at a lower gear, you're going slower. You don't have to hit the brakes to make some of those turns. Oh my gosh. I was so happy to see solid ground again when it got down over the other side, but it was pretty long. I'm going to say we were, 10 miles seems really long when you're stressing like that. And so I'm like, okay, we made it. It was upsetting. We made it over that pass. I continue going. Beautiful, by the way. It's the ones I took pictures of. No, that wasn't the pass. I didn't take my hands off the wheel on that pass. I wanted to take pictures, but I couldn't stop. It was breathtakingly beautiful, by the way. I love the West. I love the Tetons. That whole area was beautiful, and I don't think I'd been through it before. I don't remember ever going over this way, which I wish I could have afforded to stay another couple days, so I could have crossed it when there was. It's a fabulous drive. It is a beautiful drive. I wish I could have gone through on a sunny day so I could have enjoyed it, though. But I kept saying, of course, Kathy, this is Teton Pass. Of course it's going to be high pass. Okay, so okay. I get over that. And then I'm like, okay, that's the worst of it. Well, no, it wasn't. I think, if I recall, there was another pass going into Jackson. It was windy and snowy there. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't snowpacked. So I was able to drive a little faster, but it was super windy. And Jackson's beautiful. I wanted to stop there, but I just wanted to get to Pocatello, right? I just wanted to get here. And I could see ahead, Idaho Falls and Pocatello also had 23 degree or miles per hour winds. So I knew I was going to have wind the whole way, right? So I get out of Jackson. I start to drive out of Jackson. I'm like, for some reason I don't think I'd been this way, because before when I went, there wasn't high passes. Well, getting ready to leave Jackson, there's a big flashing sign again, and it's like, no trailers beyond this point. I don't remember the amount that it said we were going to go up, but it was another pass. Another pass. And you know what? It was windy. I pulled over and stopped, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? I was going to look for another way out of there. Because it was snowing. Now it was snowing on me. But there wasn't. I didn't see any other way out. So then another RV the same size as me has Teton Pass. So anyway, Tina's saying that's Teton Pass. So anyway, I saw another RV the same size as me just sailed by, going up the pass. I'm like, okay, well, if he can do it, I can do it. Kind of like bodybuilding, right? If she can do it, I can do it. Right? So I'm like, okay, Suki, we're just going to go ahead and go. It's scary in the winter, but Tina says it's scary in the winter, but it's May, Tina. But I guess, you know, around here we say you can't plant until the Memorial Weekend. It's the same thing, you know. They're in a higher elevation. So I just went ahead and went. It was super windy. There were places that were icy, and there was a lot of snow up that one, but honestly, it wasn't anything like Independence Pass in Colorado. That one scared me. This one had big wide roads. So, and there were places that you could pass. So for vehicles like me who are going super slow, and I don't care if they are mad at me or not, because that was scary. I would try to pull over when I could, but I just wanted to get home. So there were times I slowed way down, and then there was, you know, a long line of cars behind me. I would pull over when I could, but I just kept driving. So I get down the pass. Hey, Rye. I'm outside doing a video. So I get down the pass. I get into Idaho Falls. I think I remembered texting Ryan and saying, okay, I made it this far, but I'm going to stop for dinner. I was so stressed out. I was just going to stop. I remember stopping. Okay, I stopped just outside of Idaho Falls. And Idaho Falls is about, I think it's about 60 miles or so from where, you know, Pocatello. And I stopped at a rest area, and just because my nerves were shot. I mean, I had a long day of traveling and terrifying weather to drive through. And so anyway, I pulled over, and man, the wind was it was 23, I think it said 28 mile an hour winds. I told Ryan I'm going to stop at a restaurant and just stay here for a while, but it wasn't supposed to slow down until 8 at night. It was about 1 in the afternoon. So after settling my nerves, I hit the road again and decided just to go ahead and try to make it all the way to Pocatello. So after Idaho Falls, I got on the freeway, and it must have had 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts in that area. And as I was making the turn, it actually did tip me. It was a little bit scary. And I just drove slow. I mean, I got on the freeway and just drove. Sometimes I was going 55, 65. I'm like, people can pass me, I don't care. But I made it in. It's taken me, I can't remember when I got in, I think Friday. It's taken me this long to calm my nerves. I'm settling in. I'm settling in. So anyway, I don't know. That was my journey, but I wanted to say that the Thor Motor Coach 24-foot RV did darn well in snow. She did darn well. We made it. And I don't think I slipped a lot. I mean, I need to look at that. I don't know if you're, I don't know. Let me know if you travel in the snow. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to avoid the wind. Like, I was like, is it just me? Or maybe other RVs or trailers? There were people going by me and with pulling trailers and they were doing 80. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. So I'm just going to have to get used to it because it seems like everywhere I go, there's a lot of wind. And like I used Ryan's car and drove here in town. It was super windy out. I didn't feel a thing. But in this RV, I guess it's like Ryan said, flying a kite. Yes, it's a lot like that. You're just going like this. And then if a diesel passes you this way or that way, you even get another gust of wind. So, okay, that's my version of my trip into Idaho. I'm glad to be sitting still for a while. And now I'm riding my bike to the gym. And I didn't ride it today because there was 18-mile-an-hour winds. But like what Ryan said, well, it's always windy. So I can't let that stop me riding my bike either. So I got to ride my bike. It gives me extra steps. So I'm going to ride my bike tomorrow just to save on gas too. I feel like we should all across the country take our bikes out, not drive our cars for a week, and see if they'll do something with gas prices, right? But you know what? We're a country that's driven on driving now, commuting. When I was in Kentucky, my kids couldn't drive. They couldn't ride their bikes to work and be safe. And it's a lot of driving. So I don't know how we're going to ever do that or how that's going to ever happen. But that's just my take on it. So I survived. I want to go back up there to Jackson, even over those passes. Man, it was just beautiful. Breathtaking. Oh, and I went through Yellowstone as well. And then one section of Yellowstone was super windy. And I didn't realize that parts of the road drop off down in this big, right on the side of the road, like it drops at Yellowstone. The way that I drove, it was beautiful, but it was windy, and I'm like, oh, just keep me on the road, Lord. Just keep me on the road. Because I could see me going over that side. That was super windy. Then, of course, I get to an area where there's cars stopped, a two-way road. They're stopped on the side looking at bison, you know what I mean? They were off the road at least, but at least I could slow down there. But then one section, I don't remember which pass it was. It also had this, every time I saw a big sign flashing, I'm like, oh no, what are they warning me of this time? This one was, beware of bears in this area. Don't go near them. I'm like, you're not going to have to warn me about going near a bear. Because first of all, I can't stop the RV on the road because it was snow packed. And I'm not going, hey, Danny. Danny's watching too. You must be home. Oh. Anyway, I'm not going near bears. I'm not going to do it. And I couldn't stop the RV if I wanted to. But I would love to go back up there before I head to Arizona because, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And, oh, by the way, I am happy to be back in the West with the dry heat, even if I have to use lotion. Sunshine, it's beautiful here today. Yesterday we had a little bit of clouds, but I just can't tell you how much I miss the open sky and sunshine. It's just, even with the wind, it's just beautiful. Even at, up going over those passes, there were bouts of sunshine, but, anyway, okay. So, I'm trying to think, high gas prices. So, $4.39, I think, and holding strong right now. That's in Pocatello. I kind of saw that. Minnesota, I got some cheaper, but I kind of saw that the whole way through. One place was even higher than that. And I just, at those places, had to get a little bit of gas and make it to the next town because it was so expensive. I got here with about 40 miles left till empty. And I'm hoping that the gas prices go down. But, what I was going to say is I started out with $140 to fill my tank. It's now officially $200. And I could go about 450 miles. So, I mean, that's expensive. Would I have got an RV? Would I have done this whole venture back last May if the gas prices were this high? Probably not. I don't know. It would have been a whole different scenario, wouldn't it? Diesels, I heard there's going to be possibly a diesel shortage. That's even higher. I don't know. Hard telling, not knowing. I'm in it now. Let's see. Oh, one thing that I wanted to say about RV life. So I did buy my RV here from Gander. I see that they've sold it now to, I'll have to think of the name. It's Camping World. Camping World now, which was always kind of affiliated anyway. But so I'm here and I need some fixes. So I called to see, is my warranty still good? Can I bring it in? And they don't really, she's like, well, you got to call somebody else for that. Or like, they're not very user friendly to getting your RV fixed. So what I'm going to say is prepare to do your own work, even if it's on warranty. If you have to take it in, sometimes you got to leave it a week or so. That's not fast. The time I did get it fixed, it was a month or so out. And I did just see a recall on Thor's, but I don't think it was my type. Something about, and they're keeping it sort of under wraps too. Something about the propane fixtures are defaulty. And if you tighten them too tight, they leak and cause fire. Great, right? So they're not going to make that announcement till, I guess I heard July 20, this year, July. I did have a few problems with my propane when I first got it not being connected, but I haven't had any problems since. The other thing that I've ran into is getting the oil changed. So you can't just go to a normal place to get your oil changed. I did just find and make an appointment at the Ford dealer. This is a Ford chassis here in town. They can't do it in the shop though. They have to do it on the ground outside. So he's like, well, we can't rotate your tires, but I wasn't, because I got 6 tires. So I don't know. So you got to think about those things. The air pressure in the tires, I do have a gauge on my console, which that was good. When I went from Florida up to Minnesota, the pressure dropped. And so I had to have them filled at it. But I could go to a regular tire store. So like Big O and Les Schwab type things. So I don't know. I'm just saying there's a couple things that are broken here that I'm going to have to just fix myself. I mean, you're going to have to just think about it like buying a new home, where you go into it as is and you learn to fix it. So when a little piece fell off my window over here, and I'm just going to have to figure out how to fix that myself. Little things like that, even though it was brand new. Okay, let's see. Oh, by the way, the oil change is about $100. 110, I don't think that's that bad. I think I had it changed in Lake Havasu for 70 or so. So I guess you got to have it changed. Oh, you're supposed, I think they said every 5,000 miles. I had to make mine stretch because I couldn't find anybody to change it. So it's about, I've been doing it about every 10,000. 10,000 in Havasu I had it changed. I just passed 20,000 miles on my RV in 1 year. That's, I don't know, is that good or bad? I don't know. It was fun. So let's go to moving forward. So I kind of, you know, part of me like is like, why did you do that? You know, because it was life-changing. I think until you go to other parts of the country, like I thought I might want to move down to Florida, but I spent enough time there that it is beautiful. I mean, we have a beautiful country, right? Beautiful. It's gorgeous down there. It's got its beauty, but I am not a high humidity, high bug kind of person. But at least now I know kind of what, I made wonderful contacts. I have a place, a monkey sanctuary that I could go to and work for, you know, work for him and stay for free for a month if I want in April. I'm kind of considering that. So, I'm probably, I think I'm going to get my real estate license for Arizona. So I got to start working on that. I think I'll do a 21-day challenge. So I'll let everybody know. It'll be on my Facebook under my business name. One thing I noticed, like every time I get somewhere, it takes me a little bit to adjust, sort of. I get a little bit of anxiety or something, you know, where I'm like, geez, what am I going to do all day? But I start finding a routine rather quickly, and then just fall into it, and the days just pass by so fast. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm getting my routine again. So anyway, it's a good week. Beautiful today, a little bit windy again, high winds, but that's okay. I'll ride my bike tomorrow and the rest of the week because I get more cardio in with that. So, okay. I think I updated about everything that I have for this week. And I think I'll probably tune in next week and see what I can do to get my challenges going. So anyway, all right. Well, nice talking to you. And I will update you again next week, if not before. If something comes up, I have enough time now that I can do a little more videos while I'm here. So, all right. I will see you later. And take care. Much love. Bye.